Mars one.
Because it's so open.
No, see, I like the type map because it becomes a more strategic game, which is why I like Nippon Rails the best. But when I'm saying Empire Builder, I'm actually saying the whole Crayon Rails series.
Cheater, you're sticking 20 games in one slot.
Well, that's where I felt that those games belong. But
they all pretty much are the same.
Yeah, they're all the same other than different maps and different things. But I also like Euro Rails, it's a good version. Lunar Rails.
Russian Rails was good. The Russian map was good.
Actually, the other one I really like, Iron Dragon, the fantasy one.
I never played that one.
Yes, Iron Dragon, the fantasy one. Mayfair put it out years ago. And you're in a fantasy world and you're building fantasy trains and there's like dwarves and different things that come out. So they added a few special rules where like things that come out and mess with you because I forget, I haven't played in a while, but I think there's a dragon that swoops in and eats track and other things like that.
So how many players do you play these with?
Usually 4.
Okay. See, for me, 4 is too many. I like it with 2 or 3. There's too much downtime otherwise.
There's a little downtime in the game, yes, but it's just so much fun to sit there and draw your lines and you create your own board every game, and I love the aspect of creating your own track, creating your own board, and depending where you build it, it might cost you more or less, and I just went through the cheap area, so now you have to go through the mountain and yours is going to cost more, and it's such a great game. So my number 64 is Maria. I'm guessing you haven't played this one.
I still haven't played it. I keep getting told to play it all the time.
You need to. It is one of the best. In fact, it's the only 3-player. I don't even want to call it a war game. I guess it's sort of a war game, but it's not really because you're using cards to do everything.
Oh, so that means it's not a war game.
You have a deck of cards, and the deck of cards determines what your actions are. So, but it's a 3-player game, and it's really balanced for 3 players. And there's not many 3-player games that are balanced for 3 players. And this game is balanced for 3 players. It is phenomenal. There's another game also in the same line, Friedrich, which is also good, not quite as good. Maria is still the pinnacle of this kind of game. I really believe. And it's something that you need to try.
I've heard nothing but good about it.
My number 63 is Fresco.
Okay, that's not bad. Higher than I would have expected on your list because I think it's a fine game. I just didn't think you'd like it that much.
No, I really like Fresco. I like it. Actually, it's funny because Fresco is a game with a lot of expansions, but really you should just put them all in because like those first 3 expansions that come in the box, you might as well just play it. That should have just been the base game.
They should not have separated those out.
No. Fresco has a couple cool things going for it that I really like. One of them is the time aspect. So you could either wake up early
I like games
or wake up late.
Early.
I always wake up late, so I like games that promote waking up late also, even if you get penalized for it. So you have the whole time aspect of when you wake up and when you get to do your turn. You also have the aspect of combining, and other games have done it since, like Scoville, and other games have done the combining thing. But Fresco was like the first game where if I have a blue cube and a red cube, I could turn them into a purple cube, or a blue and a yellow turn into a green cube. So you could mix and match and do mixing of paints, and it really gives you the feel of mixing paints. The part about painting the fresco doesn't really give you that feel, even though the picture on the board is gorgeous, but the mixing of the paints really feels like you're mixing paints, and it's a good teaching game as well because it teaches you, that for example, yellow and red make orange. So I think it's not only
I know what you're saying, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's a good teaching game as well. So if you want to, if you're playing with a younger group, they can learn more about how colors mix together as well. So it's not just a great game in terms of what you're doing, but it's also a great game in terms of education.
All right.
My number 62 is Torres.
All right. Yeah, well, this was like made for you. The action points.
Yes.
And
Kramer and Kiesling. I'm going to repeat those names early and often, because Kramer and Kiesling came up with the limited action point system. And basically you have, let's say you have 5 actions a turn. In Torres, I forget how many you have because I haven't played in a while, but you have a certain amount of actions each turn, and you can do them. Some things cost 1 action, some things cost 2 actions, but you're limited in what you can do. And in Torres, what you have to do is you are building